They told us it was about walkability, sustainability, convenience. A city where everything you need, groceries, schools, healthcare, parks, is just 15 minutes away. It sounds utopian. But what if it's a trap? What if 15-minute cities are the beginning of a global surveillance grid? A system designed not to serve you, but to monitor, restrict, and control you. Where every movement is tracked, every purchase logged, and every deviation punished. This isn't science fiction. It's already happening in Oxford, Paris, Toronto, Shanghai. And if this theory is even partially true, it changes everything about how we live, move, and think. Because once you normalize control in the name of convenience, freedom becomes optional. And once you accept surveillance as safety, privacy becomes obsolete. This video isn't about fear. It's about asking the questions no one else will. Because if cities become cages, we need to know who's holding the key. Part 1. What is a 15-minute city? The 15-minute city is an urban planning concept. Its goal: reduce car dependency by clustering essential services within walking or biking distance. It's pitched as a solution to climate change, traffic congestion, and social isolation. Cities like Paris have adopted it aggressively. Melbourne, Portland, and Barcelona are following suit. The idea is spreading fast, backed by governments, NGOs, and tech firms. On paper, it sounds ideal. Less traffic, cleaner air, stronger communities. But critics argue that the concept is being weaponized. That it's not just about convenience, it's about containment. Once zones are defined, they can be monitored. Once movement is tracked, it can be restricted. And once restrictions are normalized, freedom becomes negotiable. Urban planning becomes behavioral engineering. And the city becomes a system of control. Part 2. The theory. The conspiracy theory claims that 15-minute cities are digital cages. That they're designed to limit movement, enforce compliance, and suppress dissent. In Oxford, UK, traffic filters were introduced to reduce congestion. But residents feared they were being locked into zones. Protests erupted. Signs read, "No to climate lockdowns." Officials denied the claims, but the infrastructure was already in place. The theory goes further. It suggests that digital IDs will be tied to your location. That leaving your zone could trigger fines, alerts, or restrictions. That your ability to travel, shop, or speak freely could be algorithmically controlled. In Essex County, Canada, similar concerns emerged. Residents questioned why cameras were being installed at intersections. Why license plate readers were being deployed in residential areas. Why pedestrian tracking was being tested without public consent. It's not just about roads. It's about rights. And the fear is that once these systems are active, they won't be rolled back. They'll be expanded. Part 3. The surveillance grid. Smart cities rely on data. And data requires surveillance. License plate readers track vehicles. Facial recognition cameras monitor pedestrians. Geofencing defines digital boundaries. Sensors record foot traffic, purchases, and behavior. In London, over 500,000 cameras feed into centralized systems. In Toronto, Sidewalk Labs proposed a district with real-time tracking of residents. In Shanghai, movement between zones is already monitored and restricted. These systems are sold as safety tools, but they can be repurposed for control. Imagine walking to a store and triggering a location alert. Imagine your face being scanned at every intersection. Imagine your digital profile being updated every time you move. Now add predictive policing, behavioral analytics, social credit scoring. You're not just being watched. You're being evaluated. And your access to services, spaces, and opportunities could depend on your compliance. This isn't hypothetical. It's infrastructure. And it's already live. Part 4. Psychological control. Surveillance isn't just physical. It's psychological. When you know you're being watched, you change how you act. You self-censor. You comply. You avoid risk. You avoid dissent. This is behavioral conditioning. The goal isn't just to monitor, it's to shape behavior. To reward obedience and punish deviation. Digital nudges, algorithmic suggestions, and predictive policing all play a role. You're not just being tracked. You're being trained. And over time, the cage doesn't need bars. It just needs data. People begin to internalize the rules. They stop asking questions. They stop resisting. They become predictable. And in a system built on control, predictability is power. Part 5. Who benefits? Governments gain control over movement, dissent, and data. They can enforce curfews, restrict travel, and monitor gatherings. They can suppress protests before they happen. Corporations gain access to behavioral analytics, purchase patterns, and predictive models. Insurance companies can adjust rates based on location and habits. Retailers can target ads based on foot traffic. Data brokers can sell your patterns to third parties. You become a product. Your city becomes a lab. And your freedom becomes negotiable. The more data you generate, the more valuable you are. But only if you stay within the system. And if you step outside the system, physically or ideologically, you become a threat. An anomaly. A variable that must be corrected. This isn't just about urban planning. It's about power. And who gets to wield it. Part 6. The backlash. Protests have erupted in Oxford, Essex, and parts of Canada. People fear being locked into zones. They fear losing freedom of movement. They fear a future where leaving your neighborhood requires permission. Officials call it misinformation. They say the theory is baseless. But the fear is real. Because the tech is real. And once infrastructure is built, it rarely goes away. It evolves. It expands. It tightens. The backlash isn't just political. It's existential. Because once you lose the ability to move freely, you lose the ability to think freely. And once you lose the ability to dissent, you lose the ability to resist. Part 7. The future. If cities become cages, who holds the key? If movement is restricted, who decides where you go? If behavior is shaped, who decides what's acceptable? 15-minute cities may start as convenience, but they could end as control. And if we don't ask questions now, we may not be allowed to later. This isn't just about urban planning. It's about autonomy. It's about freedom. It's about the future of human agency in a world run by algorithms. Because once the grid is built, it doesn't need permission. It just needs compliance. Drop your theory in the comments. Do you think 15-minute cities are the future or a trap? Like, subscribe, and share this with someone who still thinks urban planning is neutral. Next time on Beneath the Narrative, Digital ID and the End of Anonymity. Turn on notifications. You won't want to miss it. Drop your theory in the comments. Are 15-minute cities the future or a trap?